All right. So, um, for this deep dive, you've given us a real challenge, I'd say, a collection of letters. Looks like excerpts from a novel.
Right.
So we're going to be unpacking a story told in pieces, kind of like assembling a puzzle, I guess.
Right.
But instead of, a pretty picture at the end, we're diving into this world of ambition,
Oh, yeah.
creation, and some seriously dark consequences.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
To have this sort of fragmented narrative.
Yeah.
These letters, they kind of offer these glimpses into a world just teeming with these ethical dilemmas and the raw power of human emotion.
Yeah.
We get to analyze not just the events themselves, but like the thoughts, the motivations, the anxieties.
Swirling around in these characters' minds.
Exactly.
And what's even more intriguing is that it's all set against this backdrop of a sea voyage.
Right.
This journey into the unknown, both literally and metaphorically. But before we get swept away by the narrative current here, let's give everyone a sense of the players in this drama.
Okay, so the story unfolds through the correspondence of two main characters.
Okay.
First, we have Robert Walton.
Okay.
He's this young, ambitious explorer venturing into the Arctic wilderness.
Right.
And he's writing to his sister back home, just pouring his heart out in these letters.
He's clearly a man driven by a thirst for discovery, pushing the boundaries of the known world.
Oh, for sure.
You can almost feel the icy winds whipping around him as he describes this vast, desolate landscape.
Right.
He's utterly alone, yet there's this almost manic excitement in his words.
It's a peculiar mix, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isolation and exhilaration kind of intertwined.
Yeah.
His letters reveal this deep yearning for connection.
Yeah.
Desire to share his triumphs and tribulations with someone who understands his ambition.
And that yearning for connection takes this dramatic turn.
Yes.
When he encounters a stranger drifting on an ice floe near death. Imagine the shock for Walton and his crew.
Yeah.
Finding another human being in such a desolate environment.
I know.
It's like a scene ripped from a chilling nautical legend.
It is. And this encounter is far more than just a rescue.
Okay.
This stranger, as he slowly recovers, captivates Walton with his tales of scientific pursuit and profound loss. Walton finds a kindred spirit.
Yeah.
Someone who mirrors his own ambition, though perhaps with darker consequences.
And that stranger's name?
Victor Frankenstein.
Victor Frankenstein.
Victor's narrative takes us back to his childhood in Geneva.
Okay.
A stark contrast to the icy wasteland where he's found.
Yeah.
He describes a happy upbringing.
Okay.
A close bond with his adopted sister, Elizabeth. And an insatiable curiosity for natural philosophy.
Right.
He's clearly a bright, driven young man.
Yeah.
Fascinated by the mysteries of life and death.
And that fascination leads him to the University of Ingolstadt.
Yeah.
Where he delves deeper into the world of scientific exploration. But his thirst for knowledge soon turns into an obsession.
Oh.
And that's where things take a dark turn.
Okay.
Driven by ambition and perhaps a touch of hubris, he unlocks the secret to creating life.
Imagine the audacity of it.
I know.
To believe that you can harness the very essence of creation.
Right.
It's a theme that continues to resonate with us today as we grapple with the ethical implications of technologies like artificial intelligence and genetic engineering.
Oh, absolutely.
How far should we go in our pursuit of knowledge?
Right.
What are the limits of our creative endeavors?
Those are questions Victor doesn't seem to consider as he delves deeper into his experiments.
Right.
Ultimately constructing a monstrous being from various body parts.
Yeah.
But the moment he succeeds, he's overcome with revulsion and fear.
It's a classic case of be careful what you wish for. Victor had sought to unlock the secrets of life.
Right.
But what he created horrified him.
Yeah.
Instead of beauty and perfection.
Yeah.
He saw ugliness and monstrosity.
Right.
He rejects his creation, abandoning it to fend for itself in a world that is sure to fear and reject it.
And in doing so, he sets in motion a chain of tragic events that will forever haunt him.
This act of creation and immediate rejection highlights one of the core themes of the story.
Okay.
The responsibility of creators for their creations.
Right.
Did Victor have the right to bring this being into existence?
Yeah.
Only to abandon it to a world that would never accept it.
Wow.
It's a question that lingers throughout the narrative.
Yeah.
Victor's decision to abandon his creation really is the catalyst for all the tragedy that unfolds.
Right.
You know, it's a decision born out of fear and perhaps this naive belief that he can just erase what he's done.
Yeah.
But, you know, Actions have consequences.
Oh, they do?
And those consequences come crashing down when Victor gets this news that his younger brother William has been murdered.
Oh, wow.
It's devastating for the whole family. And Victor suspects the creature is responsible.
Right.
But he's just paralyzed by guilt and this fear of revealing his terrible secret.
Imagine the weight of that knowledge.
I know.
To know that your creation is responsible for this horrific act.
Right.
Yet to be unable to come forward with the truth.
Yeah, it's a burden that eats away at Victor, driving him deeper into isolation and despair.
And it's a stark reminder of the dangers of keeping secrets.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially when those secrets have the power to destroy lives.
Right?
And tragically, an innocent person gets caught in the web of Victor's creation.
Oh, no.
Justine Moritz.
Right.
This kind and devoted servant of the Frankenstein family.
Yeah.
She is wrongly accused of William's murder.
The creature in his isolation and growing rage has actually framed Justine.
Wow.
Leaving behind evidence that points to her guilt.
So Victor, knowing the truth, is faced with this agonizing choice.
Right.
Confess and risk revealing his monstrous creation. Or remain silent and allow an innocent woman to be condemned.
It's a moral dilemma of the highest order.
It really is. And tragically, Victor chooses silence.
Oh, wow.
Fear and self-preservation outweigh his sense of justice.
And Justine, unable to prove her innocence, is convicted and executed.
Oh, gosh.
Victor's left to grapple with the devastating consequences of his inaction.
Right.
His silence has cost an innocent life.
Yeah.
Adding to the growing list of casualties in the wake of his creation.
It's a real turning point in the story.
It is.
Marking the beginning of a downward spiral for Victor.
Yeah.
Haunted by guilt and fear of the creature's revenge.
Right.
He seeks solace in the solitude of the majestic Alps.
But even in the midst of such breathtaking beauty, he can't escape the shadow of his creation.
He can't.
And in this dramatic encounter, amidst these towering peaks, Victor comes face to face with the being he brought into existence.
Think about the sheer intensity of that moment.
I know,
the
bro.
creator and his creation,
standing
amidst the raw power of nature.
Right. Forced to confront the consequences of their actions.
It's a scene that has been reimagined countless times in film and literature.
For sure.
The monster confronting its maker.
Yeah.
But what's truly fascinating in Mary Shelley's original text is the eloquence and depth of the creature's arguments.
Right.
He's not simply a mindless monster.
Okay.
He's a complex being capable of reason, emotion, and even a sense of justice.
He pleads with Victor, detailing his own suffering and isolation.
Right.
He describes his attempts to connect with the world, only to be met with fear and rejection.
Right.
And he demands that Victor create a companion for him.
Oh, wow.
A female creature to share his existence.
It's a demand born out of desperation,
Yeah.
a yearning for connection that really mirrors Robert Walton's own feelings of loneliness at the beginning of the story.
Right.
But for Victor, the thought of creating another monstrous being is utterly horrifying.
Yeah.
He's already witnessed the devastation caused by his first creation.
And the prospect of unleashing another upon the world fills him with dread.
So he's torn
Yeah.
between his fear of the creature and this growing sense of responsibility for the being he brought into existence.
Right.
Should he risk creating another monster,
Yeah.
potentially compounding the tragedy?
Right.
Or should he condemn the creature to eternal solitude, knowing the potential consequences of his refusal?
It's a dilemma that forces us to consider the ethical implications of our own actions.
Right.
What responsibility do we have for the things we create?
Yeah.
Especially when those creations have the capacity for both good and evil.
Victor grapples with this question, weighing the potential benefits of appeasing the creature against the potential risks of unleashing another monster upon the world.
Yeah.
And ultimately, after much agonizing, he agrees to fulfill the creature's demand. Perhaps he sees it as a chance to atone for his past mistakes.
Right.
To offer some semblance of happiness to the being he has wronged. Or maybe it's simply a desperate attempt to protect himself and those he loves from the creature's wrath.
It's possible.
Whatever his motivations, Victor sets out to create a companion for his creation.
Okay.
He travels to a remote island in Scotland, seeking isolation to complete this dreadful task.
Right.
But as he progresses, his doubts and anxieties intensify.
Yeah.
He's haunted by visions of monstrous offspring, fearing the consequences of his actions for generations to come.
It's a powerful reminder that even with the best of intentions, our actions can have unforeseen and potentially devastating consequences.
Absolutely. And in a dramatic turn of events, Victor makes a decision that will alter the course of the story forever.
What's that?
He destroys his work, breaking his promise to the creature.
It's an act of defiance.
Yeah.
A rejection of the creature's demands, and maybe even a desperate attempt to reclaim control over his own destiny.
But this act of rebellion comes at a steep price.
Oh, no.
The creature, enraged by Victor's betrayal, vows revenge.
Oh, gosh.
I will be with you on your wedding night, he promises.
Wow.
Foreshadowing this terrible fate that awaits Victor and his beloved Elizabeth. The shadow of the creature's threat hangs over Victor as he returns to Geneva, preparing for his long-awaited marriage to Elizabeth. He knows the creature is out there lurking in the shadows, waiting to exact his revenge. And as the wedding day approaches, that sense of dread becomes almost palpable.
The stage is set for a tragic confrontation. A clash between creator and creation. Love and revenge. So Victor's back in Geneva trying to, move forward with his life. Find happiness with Elizabeth. But the creature's threat just hangs over everything. Like a dark cloud, threatening to consume them all.
It's a powerful exploration of guilt and paranoia. Victor knows he's brought this on himself, yet he's also desperate to protect Elizabeth, to shield her from the consequences of his actions.
It's this struggle between his desire for love and the looming specter of his past sins.
And as the wedding day approaches, the tension just ratchets up even further.
Oh, yeah.
You can practically feel Victor's anxiety, his desperate attempts to convince himself that he can outsmart the creature, that he can somehow keep Elizabeth safe.
But it's a futile hope. The creature is relentless, driven by a rage that has festered over years of isolation and rejection, and in a tragic twist, the creature's revenge. It isn't directed at Victor himself.
Oh, wow.
Instead, he strikes at the heart of what Victor holds most dear.
Oh, no.
Elizabeth.
The scene is heartbreaking. Victor, consumed by this belief that he's the target, leaves Elizabeth alone on their wedding night, only to return and find her lifeless.
Oh, my God.
The creature has vanished. Leaving behind this trail of devastation and despair.
It's a devastating loss for Victor.
It is.
One that pushes him over the edge. Consumed by grief and a thirst for revenge. He abandons all hope of happiness and dedicates himself to hunting down his creation.
He becomes almost like infected by the very monster he created, consumed by this singular, all-encompassing obsession. He chases the creature across vast landscapes, from the mountains of Switzerland to the icy wastelands of the Arctic. He becomes a shadow of his former self, driven by this need for retribution that surpasses even his initial thirst for knowledge.
And this is where that parallel between Victor and Robert Walton becomes even more significant. Both men driven by this profound ambition, this desire to push beyond the boundaries of the known world.
But Victor's story serves as a stark warning to Walton.
It does.
A cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked ambition and the corrosive nature of revenge.
Walton, initially captivated by Victor's tale, even eager to join him in his pursuit of the creature, begins to see the self-destructive path Victor has chosen. He witnesses firsthand the toll that Victor's obsession has taken on his mind and body. And he starts to question his own motivations.
It's a pivotal moment for Walton.
It is.
He's faced with a choice. Follow in Victor's footsteps and risk becoming consumed by the same darkness. Or choose a different path. One that prioritizes humanity and compassion over vengeance.
And in a decision that marks a significant departure from Victor's trajectory, Walton chooses to abandon the pursuit of the creature.
He does.
He orders his crew to turn back, prioritizing their safety and well-being over the fulfillment of Victor's dying wish.
It's a powerful act of self-awareness and compassion.
It is.
Walton recognizes the destructive potential within himself. The allure of obsession and the seductive call of revenge. But he chooses to resist those impulses.
He does.
Breaking free from the cycle of darkness that has ensnared Victor.
But even in choosing a different path, Walton can't escape the long shadow of Victor's creation. Shortly after Victor's death, the creature appears in Walton's cabin.
Oh, wow.
Drawn to the passing of his maker.
He expresses a mixture of remorse And this chilling sense of liberation.
Right.
He mourns the loss of the only being who understood his existence. Yet he also acknowledges the torment of his own being, the isolation and the burden of his crimes.
It's a complex and nuanced moment.
It is.
The creature, for all his monstrous acts, is capable of deep emotion, of regret, and even a yearning for connection.
Right.
He recognizes the role that Victor played in shaping his destiny, but he also takes responsibility for his own actions, acknowledging the darkness that consumed him.
And in a final act of self-annihilation, the creature vows to end his own existence, seeking release in the vastness of the Arctic wilderness.
Right.
He chooses to disappear into the icy oblivion, taking with him the burden of his existence and the memory of the tragedy he helped create.
It's a haunting ending.
It is.
One that leaves us with more questions than answers.
It does.
What does it mean to be human?
Right.
What responsibility do we have for the things we create?
Yeah.
And can we ever truly escape the consequences of our actions?
This deep dive into the fragmented world of Frankenstein has taken us on a journey through the depths of human ambition.
Absolutely.
The complexities of creation and the devastating consequences of unchecked desires.
Right.
It's a story that continues to resonate centuries after it was written, reminding us of the enduring power of human emotion, the fragility of our existence, and the profound responsibility that comes with the pursuit of knowledge.
It really does.
So as you move forward, consider this.
Okay.
What are the limits of your own ambitions? And what choices will you make to ensure that your creations, both literal and metaphorical, don't become monsters that haunt you?